yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. I'm going to explain that a bit further, but he's saying your father put a lot of pressure, if you want to call it. Because sometimes we feel pressurized. We're asked to pay this, we're asked to pay that. So basically they're saying, your father, Rehoboam, your father put a lot of pressure on us, right? And, so we are now asking you to release that pressure, make that burden lighter, as in verse 4, and we will serve you. And he said unto them, so Rehoboam said unto them, depart, go away for 3 days, then come again to me. And so the people went. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men, which stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, and said, How do we advise that I may answer this people? I'll just pause there and ask you, how do you think, what do you think their response was? Do you think their response was good or bad? Because don't forget, these were advisors to his father.
When they got sent away?
No. People got sent away. He sent them away. And then Rehoboam asked the advisors, the people who advised his father, how should I respond to the people? What shall I say to them? How do you think he responded? Do you think it was good or bad? So these were people that were with his father, gave advice to his father, and he asked them, what do you think I should tell the people? How do you think they responded? Do you think they gave a good response or a bad response?
Bad response.
A bad response, okay? We'll go with that. And King Rehoboam consulted, in verse 7, and they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. Verse 8, but he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. Okay, so we've said that the old men that were advisors to his father, he probably didn't take their advice, and we saw that they gave him advice, and he didn't take it. How do you think he reacted to the advice of the young men that grew up with him, more or less his friends, his peers? So if he did take the advice of the older men, what do you think he did? How do you think he responded to the young men who grew up with him? I'm just preempting to see if to see how you think it would have gone before I carry on.
No, it's the same it's like with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably agree with my friends.
Yeah.
And people that's got wise ways, isn't it? Because I'll trust my friends, but it might not be the right thing.
Yeah. So you see, a lot of people do that today, as you said. You trust your friends, even though it might not be the right thing. But we'll read on and see what they said. So so in verse 8, he forsook the counsel of the old men and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, and make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now whereas my father did laid you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father, which chastised you with whips, my father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Does anyone could anyone explain what they think it means? I might be sort of putting a bit of pressure on you today. What you can explain what you think that means? So he's saying, my father made your yoke heavy. So we're talking about people pressuring them to give money, give taxes, give money, right? So, and he's saying to them, my father made your yoke heavy, but my little finger is thicker than my father's loins. So my father chastised you with whips. Whips to beat you with. It might not be literal whips, but he might use harsh words or penalty or punishment. But I will chastise you with scorpions.
We want to kill them then?
Kill them.
Might as well. Scorpion, what's scorpion going to do? Do a lot more damage than a whip.
Exactly. The scorpion is probably not literally scorpions, but he was saying that with scorpions they've got a sting, and that sting is very harsh and it's poisonous. So he's saying, what I'm going to do to you,
ways.
eh?
It's his ways.
What I'm going to do to you is even worse. It's even worse than what my father's going to do. And so, do you think he listened to his
Hello.
Do you think he listened to them, to the young men, what they were saying? Their harshness?
No.
You don't think he listened? Do you think Rehoboam listened to what the young men were saying, that he should tell the people?
I must have heard him, but I don't think he's paying in mind.
He didn't pay them any mind. Anybody else? Okay. Well, he did pay them mind.
Okay.
He did pay them mind. He did listen. And when the people came back in 3 days to find out what his answer was, he told them exactly what his young friends told him. And so the people then said, oh no, we're not going to serve you then. What's the point? We're not going to serve you then. And so in the story, in a historical account of what happened, we find that the people decided, no, we're not going to stay with you. So what happened was, when, as I said before, Solomon was Rehoboam's father. He had great wealth. He burdened the people. They had to pay lots of taxes. He was very rich, and he served God. But then, I don't know if any of you ever saw the film about Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, or read the story. He married a lot of people from different foreign countries who served idols. And instead of following God and worshipping God as he used to do, because it was God who gave him the wealth, he decided now to listen to his wives, and he made idols and worshipped with his wives. Idols instead of God. So God said to him, God sent a prophet to tell him that, you preside, you're king over 12 tribes of Israel. Who knows there were 12 tribes of Israel? 12 tribes.
I heard of them.
You heard of them. Instead of you presiding over all of Israel, okay, in your day, but in your son's day, right? You're not gonna. That's not gonna happen.
What did we call them? Disciples or something?
No. This is in the Old Testament.
12 tribes.
No. Well.
12 tribes or something.
Yeah. So you have no, not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those were the 3 Hebrew boys. So Benjamin and Judah were one tribe together, and then you had lots of other tribes. So he said, instead of that happening, I'm going to take away those. You're not going to preside over your son. Isn't going to be able to preside over these people anymore. I'm only going to give you one tribe. So that's what happened when Rehoboam listened to the young men. That's what happened, and the people decided, no, we're not going to follow you. We're going to follow after Jeroboam, who wasn't even a royal person, who escaped to Egypt because he feared Solomon. Because Solomon, when Solomon was given the prophecy that God was going to take away the Israel from him, Solomon wanted to kill him, so he had to run for his life. But when Solomon died, he came back. So now they said, no, we're not going to serve Rehoboam, Solomon's son. We're going to serve Jeroboam. So I've given you that example to show